Unit 7, Lesson 2, Points on the Number Line. Number 1. For each number, name its opposite. A. -5. The opposite of -5 is +5 or 5. B. 28. The opposite of +28 or 28 is -28. C. -10 and 4/10. The opposite of -10 and 4/10 is +10 and 4/10 or 10 and 4/10. D. 875 thousandths. The opposite of 875 thousandths is -875 thousandths. E. 0. 0 is its own opposite. F. -8003. The opposite of -8003 is +8003 or 8003. Number 2. Plot the numbers -1 and 5/10, 3/2, -3/2, and -4/3 on the number line. Label each point with its numeric value. Since -1 and 5/10 has the same value as -3/2, they have the same location on the number line. To the right of it, or slightly closer to 0, would be -4/3, and then on the positive side of 0, we have 3/2. And since 3/2 is the same as 1 1/2, you'll notice that its location on the number line is exactly between 1 and 2. Number 3. Plot the following points on a number line. -1 and 5/10. In blue, you can see -1 and 5/10 to the left of 0, halfway between -1 and -2. The opposite of -2. Well, the opposite of -2 is +2. So you'll notice 2 units to the right of 0 on the number line, I've plotted the opposite of -2, which is +2. The opposite of 5/10. Well, the opposite of 5/10 would be -5/10. So you'll notice halfway between 0 and -1 on the number line, I've plotted -5/10. And then finally, -2. 2 units to the left of 0 on the number line, I've plotted -2. Number 4. A. Represent each of these temperatures in degrees Fahrenheit with a positive or negative number. I, or let's call that 1. 5 degrees above 0. That would be 5 or +5. 2. 3 degrees below 0. That would be -3. Number 3. 6 degrees above 0. That would be a +6 or 6. 4. 2 3/4 degrees below 0. That would be a -2 3/4. B. Order the temperatures above from the coldest to the warmest. Well, the furthest below 0 in this case would be -3, then -2 3/4, then 5, and then the warmest would be 6. Number 5. Solve each equation. A. 8x equals 2/3. That's the same as 8 times x equals 2/3. We need to solve for x. And in order to solve for x, we're going to divide 2/3 by 8. 2/3 divided by 8 will equal x. In order to do 2/3 divided by 8, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of 8 over 1. 2/3 times 1 over 8 equals x. And 2/3 times 1/8 is 1/12. X equals 1/12. B. 1 1/2 equals 2x. That's the same as 2x, or 2 times x, equals 1 1/2. That can be rewritten as 3 over 2 divided by 2 over 1 equals x. We can solve for x by multiplying by the reciprocal of 2 over 1. 3/2 times 1/2 equals x, and 3/2 times 1/2 equals 3/4. So x equals 3/4. C. 5/2 equals 2/7. That can be rewritten as 2/7 divided by 5/1 equals x. We can solve for x by multiplying by the reciprocal of 5/1. That would be 2/7 times 1/5 equals x. And 2/7 times 1/5 equals 2/35. So 2/35 equals x, or x equals 2/35. D. 1/4 x equals 5. That can be rewritten as 5 divided by 1/4 equals x, which is the same as 5/1 divided by 1/4 equals x. And to solve for x, we'll multiply by the reciprocal of 1/4. So 5/1 times 4/1 equals x. And 5/1 times 4/1 equals 20/1. So x would equal 20. E. 1/5 equals 2/3 x. Try this one on your own, and if you're a Channel G rated patron on Patreon, you can check your answer by visiting Patreon and watching the Channel G rated patron only video. Number 6. Write the solution to each equation as a fraction and as a decimal. A. 2x equals 3. That can be rewritten as 3 divided by 2 equals x, which is 3/2 or 1/2. X equals 1/2 or 1 5/10. B. 5y equals 3. That can be rewritten as 3 divided by 5 equals y. 3 divided by 5 can be rewritten as 3/5 or 3/5. So 3/5 equals y. 3/5 is the same as 6/10. 3 times 2 equals 6, and 5 times 2 equals 10. So 3/5 equals 6/10. And 6/10 is the same as a decimal, 0.6. So y equals 3/5 and y equals 6/10. C. 3/10 z equals 9/1000. Try this one on your own, and if you're a Channel G rated patron on Patreon, you can check your answer by visiting Patreon and watching the Channel G rated patron only video. Number 7. There are 15 and 24/100 centimeters in 6 inches. A. How many centimeters are in 1 foot? Well, 6 inches times 2 equals 1 foot. So 15 and 24/100 centimeters times 2 is going to equal 1 foot. So there are 30 and 48/100 centimeters in 1 foot. That's just less than 30.5 centimeters in 1 foot. B. How many centimeters are in 1 yard? Well, since there's 3 feet in 1 yard, we multiply 1 foot times 3, that gives us 1 yard. Next, we would multiply 30 and 48/100 centimeters times 3 to get 1 yard. And 30 and 48/100 centimeters times 3 is 91 and 44/100 centimeters. So there's 91 and 44/100 centimeters in 1 yard. Congratulations, you have completed Unit 7, Lesson 2, Points on the Number Line. Right now you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month. That sure beats the price you'd pay for a tutor.